wanted to do a video on the different kind of jobs I had before I started talking about fragrances full time. So my first job was under the table. Like I was 16, I was getting paid under the table. I worked at a warehouse and I was just like tagging pastries. I'm like boom, 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 counting stuff. I'm like, okay, we got this, blah, blah, blah. Then I would just dip. And my real job though, where I was like on an actual payroll, was I was around 18 or something, and I worked at Cold Stone. So I was like your ice cream scooper type of gal, and like doing all that kind of stuff, learning the mix-ins. And that was really fun. I have to say that the worst day that I worked there was Valentine's Day. I was fucking like 18, 19, and they had me working like a 10, 12-hour shift because somebody called off. And I'm like, yo, like what? Like, but I was like, you know what? I can get some extra money. I had the energy to do it. But looking back, I'm like, minimum wage job. Why? You know what I mean? And it was very, very busy. I'm like, dang, if the owner won't even step in and they're just relying on me, that's kind of trash, right? But then after that, I worked at a golf course my senior year of college, and I was the beverage cart. I was the cart girl / bartender / like kitchen, like the person also that would like make sandwiches, and it would like rotate depending on my schedule. But for the most part, I was the cart girl that you see just like driving around with like tequila, rum, whiskey, like in my cart, making Bloody Marys and like having chips and stuff like that in case people wanted some chips. So that one was a lot of fun because, you know, you get tips and you get paid to just literally drive around on a golf cart. And then, yeah, like I had some dope coworkers that would like make me some stuff at the bar, and then like they would bring, so I would just be like, I'd be buzzed on that cart. I'd be like, you guys want tequila? Like, is everyone okay? And I was already like that. So definitely lots of fun. And then after I graduated college though, I did like a Medicare broker thing. So I worked in some Medicare, and then I did medical device sales at as my first big girl job, like where I was like, okay, like I was making like a good amount of money for somebody my age, and it was like a base plus commission, and I'm like, yo, this is nice. Like I loved that, but I only did it for around 8 months, and it was more of like, I didn't really like, the boss that I had was like pushing his 70s, you know what I mean? And like I am not somebody that, this probably sounds very unsales like, but if somebody says no, I didn't want to keep pushing them until they said yes. You know what I mean? It's like, it's your job to sell and to make that happen. But I'm like, listen, that might work with like you and like the other like boomer doctors, but for the most part, when I call these physicians that we have connections with, like these warm leads and these actual like existing clientele, and even cold calling especially, and they're just hearing me like trying to push product, they're gonna get so pissed off. And on top of that, the people answering the phones are young. They're like my age, you know what I mean? Like they aren't, like the doctors aren't the people on the phones. Like they have people do that. So it's like basically the way I wanted to go about it was so different than what he wanted, and he didn't like it. Like for me, it's like, okay, if I hear a no, okay, on to the next person, like on to the next person until I get the yes from somebody that's interested. And then they buy in bulk from me, and then I do like a little, okay, like do a word of mouth, like if you have any of like other physicians that you know that are interested in this, and I can give you a nice discount on the next time you buy from us, and like I can hook it up real good for you depending on how many referrals you bring me. So that's the way I wanted to do it. But they're like, no, you need to convert. I'm like, bro, like it's a waste of time. Well, like this is the way I thought before. I'm like, it's a waste of time to try to convince all these no's to be a yes, when if you just hear that no, just move on until you find a yes, you know. But that just might be like the more modern way to do things. That's at least how I would want a salesperson to handle me. Like if I say no, I don't want them calling my phone every fucking day. Like that's annoying as fuck. And then I worked at Bank of America. Literal ass. I worked in the heat of like amidst COVID, you know what I mean? When the dumbassery was coming alive, and there were things that literally were out of my control. I was just there to do like my one job. I did the teller job, And let me tell you, bro, people were stupid for things that like were their fault. You know, so that was the job that taught me how to have like tough skin and to clap back at people that were being disrespectful to me. Because before that, my mentality was if I'm nice to people, they'll be nice to me. And that's how it's always worked in my life. Like I never had people that really challenged that. Maybe a couple, but you know, I just let it roll off my shoulder. But every day it was like that. Multiple people back to back to back to back, just being bitches. Not my coworkers, customers. And I was like, fuck it. So like there came a time like once that thing switched, nothing was holding me back for what I was going to say. It's because I'm like, you can't get away with calling me a racial slur in front of my face and just like yelling at me for something that's not my problem. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like that. I don't tolerate that. So I let them know, and they're like, well, you should, I'm a customer. Yeah, you're a customer, and I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? So I didn't, it wasn't a job that I was really looking into. After seeing how stupid people were, I'm like, okay, why am I even trying to work hard at this job? That's when I'm like, okay, I'll do like literally the bare minimum. And then I left them because also that's around the time that my anxiety started spiking, which turned out to be my thyroid issue that we didn't find out until like 2 months ago. So I'm working on that right now. But yeah, I posted my first TikTok January 20th, 2021 of this year. Kept my head down. Lots of people didn't know what I was doing, and I wasn't telling people. I wasn't like, hey, I'm gonna be posting fragrance TikToks now, everybody. It's gonna be my job. Like, I kept that hush. I kept it hush until like I was talking to like my parents before, and then like I was looking at my emails, and my mom was like, whoa, like who's this? Like, who are like these companies that want to work with you? And then I told her what I was doing. My sister was the one that kind of told her what I was doing, but they started to see, both my mom and dad, when I would talk to them and like what I would show them. They're like, oh my God, like people want to work with you. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm literally just talking about fragrances on social media. So like, that's the reason that I have 99% of my fragrances now. And you know, like there's been some that, well, there's some compensation that goes on with these brands, and they see like that you have a following and they want you to kind of talk about their product and stuff like that. But I always tell them that I'm going to be authentic with my audience. I'm like, I would love to give an authentic review. So yeah, the stuff you hear me say, I'm not bought out. I'm not like, oh, okay, Yves Saint Laurent gave this to me, which means I can only say good things about it. Like this one, Diorama, Vanilla Diorama, everyone right now is saying that it's amazing. They're like, oh, it's sexy, it's blah, blah, blah. This is really nice, very unique. To me, it smells like grandma. Yeah, I will be honest with you on that. But yeah, anyways, those are the jobs I had before this. So definitely fun. And I think that it's not so much the jobs that have molded me into being fairly decent at what I'm doing right now. I think it's more of how like my personality, and maybe in another video I can delve into like how I could tell you all about how I was like when I was growing up, like academically and stuff like that, because I was never someone that always had to get A's and like I'm like, I need to be on honor roll, I need to do this, blah blah blah. I wasn't striving to be the best academically, but I think I did good with like the social game and relationships, which turned out to be the most important part of what I'm doing right now, is building relationships with people and being consistent like that versus just being really good at math or science, you know? So yeah, if you're someone that's not the best in school, trust me, it's not like, unless you're trying to be like an astronaut or you're trying to do something STEM related, then that can definitely help you. But I honestly think that connections and knowing how people think works way more. Like what you can offer them and stuff like that works way more than just being amazing on paper. Yeah. So yeah, let me know what other videos you want me to do. I kind of like doing these ones that aren't totally fragrance related, just so you know a little bit more about me, and hopefully I answer whatever questions you have in your mind. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and take care.